Good evening, medicos. Hello. Today we will discuss about the anatomy of facial nerve. This is an important nerve. Okay. First thing, when anyone says about the facial nerve, the first thing that comes to our mind, it supplies the muscles of facial expression. Okay. The facial nerve supplies the muscles of facial expression. Okay. We will discuss the facial nerve in following topics like the course of the facial nerve, its branches, and clinical aspects. Okay. Okay. Starts with the introduction. Facial nerve originates from the pons. Okay. Facial nerve originates from the pons. Okay. The facial nerve fibers originate from the pons in the facial nucleus. Okay. It exits through pontomedullary junction. Okay. It exits through pontomedullary junction. The facial nerve fiber originate in the pons and exit through pontomedullary junction. Okay. Next, it supplies important glands and ganglions, like two important ganglion and 5 glands. Okay. The name of the two ganglions are pterygopalatine ganglion and submandibular ganglion. Okay, and 5 glands. Okay, 5 glands are LNP gland. What is that LNP gland? L for lacrimal, N for nasal, P for palatine. Okay, and submandibular, sublingual. Okay, 5 glands. Lacrimal, nasal, palatine, submandibular, sublingual. Okay, it supplies 2 ganglion, pterygopalatine ganglion and submandibular ganglion, and it supplies 5 glands: lacrimal, nasal, palatine, submandibular, sublingual. It also carries sensory fibers from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. Sensory fibers from anterior 2/3 of the tongue via chorda tympani nerve. Okay, chorda tympani nerve is a branch of facial nerve. Let's see the course of the chorda tympani nerve in the next session. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's move on to the important discussion, the course of the facial nerve. Okay, let's start with the brainstem. Okay, the brainstem consists of midbrain, pons, medulla. Okay, there are 2 nucleus in the pons. Okay, there are some nucleus like superior salivatory nucleus and inferior salivatory nucleus. Superior salivatory nucleus, inferior salivatory nucleus. Superior salivatory nucleus innervation to the 5 glands and 2 ganglion. We will discuss later in this section. Okay, and inferior salivatory nucleus innervates parotid gland. Okay, and there is a facial nucleus in the lower border of pons. This is the facial nucleus. Facial nerve fibers originate from the facial nucleus, takes an inward bend. Okay, this inward bend takes an inward bend like a U-turn. This inward bend creates a depression called facial colliculus. Okay, this is facial colliculus and this is facial nucleus. Facial nerve fibers originating from the facial nucleus, taking an inward bend, creates a depression. The name of this depression is facial colliculus. Okay, the name of the inward bend was internal genu of the facial nerve. Okay, this is an internal genu. After taking this course, it takes a course towards the internal aquastic meatus. Internal aquastic meatus in the middle ear cavity. Okay, it takes a course towards the internal aquastic meatus towards middle ear cavity and passes through internal aquastic meatus, middle ear cavity, and takes another bend. Okay, another bend. This is known as external genu. That is internal genu. This is external genu, and takes another bend called external genu along the geniculate ganglion and gives 3 branches. Okay, first branch is greater petrosal nerve, and second branch is nerve to stapedius, and third branch is chorda tympani nerve. Okay, after giving these 3 branches, it passes along the stylomastoid foramen and passes through parotid gland. It doesn't supply parotid gland. it passes through the parotid gland and give 5 branches. Okay, temporal, zygomatic, buccal, mandibular, cervical. Okay, it doesn't give any branches to parotid gland. Parotid gland is supplied by inferior salivatory nucleus via glossopharyngeal nerve. So facial nerve doesn't give any branches to parotid gland. It just passes through the parotid gland and gives 5 branches. Okay, so let's discuss the individual. Let's move to the individual nerves. Okay, greater petrosal nerve. Greater petrosal nerve gives preganglionic parasympathetic fibers to pterygopalatine ganglion. Okay, the first ganglion is pterygopalatine ganglion. The pterygopalatine ganglion supplies LNP gland. Okay, L for lacrimal, N for nasal, P for palatine. Okay, greater petrosal nerve gives preganglionic parasympathetic fibers to pterygopalatine ganglion. Pterygopalatine ganglion supplies LNP gland, lacrimal, nasal, palatine. Okay, the second nerve to stapedius, supplies motor fibers to stapedius muscle, which is in the inner ear. Okay, the next nerve, cauda tympani nerve. Cauda tympani nerve supplies it also supplies the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers to submandibular ganglion. This is pterygopalatine ganglion. This is submandibular ganglion. Okay, cauda tympani nerve supplies preganglionic parasympathetic fibers to submandibular ganglion. Submandibular ganglion innervates submandibular gland and sublingual gland. Okay. In addition, cauda tympani nerve carries taste sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue. In addition, it carries a taste sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue. So the taste sensation passes via same pathway. It passes through the geniculate ganglion and it passes through the internal acoustic meatus and relays in the NTS, the nucleus tractus solitarius. In the nucleus, it goes to the nucleus tractus solitarius. It's have a mnemonic like SVA, SWAT NTS. SWAT means it supplies taste, special visceral afferent in the tip of the tractus solitarius. Okay, it's a mnemonic. Okay, special visceral afferent in the tip of the nucleus tractus solitarius. Okay, then so next the taste buds also in the palate. Okay, the glossopharyngeal nerve carries the taste from the palate. Okay, so it also passes via the same pathway and relays in the nucleus tractus solitarius. Okay, in addition, the cauda tympani carries the taste from anterior two-third of the tongue and the glossopharyngeal nerve carries taste from the palate. Okay, this is all. Next, greater petrosal nerve supplies preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. So, which nerve gives sympathetic fibers to the pterygopalatine ganglion? So, it's there is the T1 plexus around the internal carotid artery. This gives deep petrosal nerve. Okay, there is a T1 plexus around the internal carotid artery gives deep petrosal nerve. So this deep petrosal nerve along with greater petrosal nerve together forms Vidian nerve. This is the nerve. Vidian nerve is also known as nerve of pterygoid canal. Okay, this together forms Vidian nerve. The formation happens in the floor of the foramen lacerum. Okay, in the floor of the foramen lacerum, and it carries the sympathetic fibers to pterygopalatine ganglion. Okay, next, in submandibular ganglion, cauda tympani carries preganglionic parasympathetic fibers, which carries sympathetic fibers. So then it is a lingual nerve. Lingual nerve gives the sympathetic fibers to the submandibular ganglion. Okay, yeah. Then so superior superior salivating nucleus gives 5 gland supplies 5 gland and 2 ganglia. Okay, 5 gland and 2 ganglia. The 5 gland, so LNP gland, lacrimal, nasal, palatine and submandibular, sublingual. 2 ganglion means pterygopalatine ganglion and submandibular ganglion. Okay, yeah. Let's discuss on MCQ, right? Facial nerve has all the components except option A, general visceral efferent, option B, special visceral efferent, option C, special visceral afferent, option D, special somatic afferent. Yeah, let's see that. The caudate lymphatic nerve carries taste from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. Okay, anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So it is responsible for SVA, special visceral afferent. Okay, so the special visceral afferent is present in the face. This is a component of facial nerve. Next, superior salivating nucleus gives innervates 5 glands and 2 ganglions. Okay, it gives secretomotor fibers, right? So it also provides general visceral efferent. Okay, so general visceral efferent is also a component of facial nerve. Okay, after passing from stylomastoid foramen, after passing through parotid duct, after passing to parotid gland, it supplies muscles of facial expression. So it gives special visceral efferent. Okay, so what's the answer? It gives general visceral efferent, it gives special visceral efferent, it gives special visceral afferent. So the answer is D, special somatic afferent. Okay, special somatic afferent is not a component of facial nerve. So special somatic afferent only provided by 2nd and 8th cranial nerve, not by the facial nerve. Okay, yeah. Come on, guys. Let's move on to the clinical aspects of facial nerve. Okay, first pain. The crocodile is crying. The crocodile having food and they will cry. Okay, why? The crocodile having food and they will cry. Why so? Okay, humans also have the same relevancy. Okay, so what is the name of this syndrome? Its name is crocodile tears syndrome. Okay, the name of the syndrome is crocodile tears syndrome. Okay, so there are 2 nucleus. For example, the superior salivatory nucleus and lacrimatory nucleus. Okay, both are in the pons. Okay, during regeneration of salivary fibers, for example, 10 salivary fibers are regenerating. Out of 10, only 8 reaches the salivary gland. Okay, and 2 fibers are misdirected to the lacrimatory gland. Okay, out of 10, only 8 reaches the salivary gland and 2 reaches the lacrimatory gland. They are misdirected. So whenever the salivary impulse, so there will be also the tears also come along with the salivary impulse. Okay, when these fibers are stimulated, along with this fibers also stimulated, this causes the tear secretion. This is called crocodile tear syndrome. Salivation is followed by lacrimation. Okay, in case of regeneration, some fibers are misdirected. So this condition is known as crocodile tear syndrome. Okay, next. This is a funny connection. The name of the cricket player is Ian Morgan. Okay, what if Ian Morgan takes up LIC policy for 10 years? What is the condition? Yeah, it's a Ian's Bell's palsy. Okay, the condition is Bell's palsy. If Ian Morgan if Ian Morgan takes up LIC policy for 10 years, it's known as Bell's palsy. It's a funny condition, you can came to know. Yeah, like, okay, in Bell's palsy, it is the LMN type of lesion. Okay, this is a lower motor neuron. It is a lower motor neuron type of paralysis of facial muscles. Okay, due to compression of facial nerve in stylomastoid foramen. It's very, very important. After the facial nerve passing from the geniculate ganglion, it passes to stylomastoid foramen and afterwards it splits into 5 branches. Okay, it supplies the muscles of facial expression. Okay, after passing from the stylomastoid foramen. Okay, this is a lower motor It is a lower motor neuron type of paralysis due to compression of facial nerves in the stylomastoid foramen. Okay. The clinical features. Okay. The facial asymmetry. Next, loss of horizontal fissures on the forehead. Okay. Widening of palpable fissures and drooping eyelids. Eyelids are drooped. Okay. Drooping mouth, as well as dripping of saliva, dripping of saliva, and loss of nasolabial fold. Nasolabial fold is lost. Okay. These are the clinical features of Bell's palsy. I once again repeat. Bell's palsy is an element type of lesion of facial nerve in the stylomastoid foramen, compression of facial nerve in the stylomastoid foramen. Some of the clinical features like facial asymmetry, loss of horizontal fissures in the forehead, and drooping eyelids and drooping eyelids and drooping mouth, loss of horizontal loss of nasolabial fold, and facial paralysis. Okay, these are the clinical features. Okay. Next, we move on to this connection. Yeah, try to connect these pictures. It has a syndrome. Yeah, what is this? This is the RAM, 4GB RAM, and this girl is saying hi. Okay, its picture shows Hunter. Okay, this is RAM. This girl saying hi. Say RAM say hunt. So this syndrome is RAM say hunt syndrome, Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. Okay, it is due to the involvement of geniculate ganglion in Herpes-zoster infection. In Herpes-zoster infection, involvement of which ganglion? Geniculate ganglion. Geniculate ganglion. Okay, geniculate ganglion contains taste pathway. Geniculate ganglion is involved in taste pathway. So it is the major pathway is affected in the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. Okay, the clinical features of Ramsay-Hunt syndromes are okay. First is herpetic vesicles on the auricle. There is hyperacusis, loss of lacrimation, loss of taste sensation, and complete ipsilateral facial palsy. It also association with Bell's palsy. Okay, the herpetic vesicles on the auricle, hyperacusis, loss of lacrimation, loss of taste sensation in the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, and complete ipsilateral facial palsy. Okay, guys, thank you.